1, Gabbin' and Games.
Well, welcome to the show, my delightful delinquents. You have arrived at Gabbin' and Games. I am Jaffe. We're going to talk about video game news today for a little bit. I appreciate you being here with me and Tech, who you'll see in a second. I want to tell you a very brief story first. Of course, you can get your Gabbin' and Games mug, which does not look very good. And let's go to the other camera, because we got to get a higher res camera here for this shot. But it's beautiful Gabbin' and Games mug. DW Octorok did the artwork. I'll show it to you guys later. But there's Tech over there. I wanted to show you this before we get going into game talk. We did some shopping, and did you ever have Frosted Krispies?
As a cereal, no, but as like the little square, yeah.
No, that you're thinking of Rice Krispie treats.
Yeah, they're frosted.
No. Basically, if you buy the normal Rice Krispies, you get them without sugar. They're very bland and very boring. So as a kid growing up, we would have it for cereal, but then we would have to just pour gobs of fucking sugar on this stuff because by themselves, why would you want them? And a few years back, at least in LA or California, they started releasing the Frosted Krispies, where every piece is already frosted, so you don't need sugar. And it's made the process of eating Rice Krispies just a joy. And I found a box last night. They don't always have them. Do you know how much this box was? Take a guess how much this box was.
$8.
Almost $6.99.
Yeah.
For a box of fucking cereal.
Sounds about right.
It's bullshit, but it's still Frosted Krispies. Welcome to the show. I appreciate you being here. Sometime during today's show, we should get a knock from Amazon, and I'll do a very fast, much faster than last time unboxing. I got a couple of things I ordered last night that are geek adjacent. They're game adjacent. They're not game centric, but they're geek adjacent.
Okay.
That I will share. But it keeps saying the driver has a few more stops to make, and so far they ain't here yet. But today on the show, we'll be talking about Ron Moore, the showrunner of God of War, what he said over the weekend at Comic-Con about the God of War Amazon TV show. I'll be honest with you, I'm not too hyped. Could be the door right there.
I'll go check.
I'm not too hyped on what they're slinging. It could be great though. I'm not like a negative Nancy on it, but we'll talk about it. I'll give you my thoughts. We're going to talk obviously about the what are those guys called in Australia? The shout idiots who are Shout Force or something, who are trying to get all these games removed and going through the Visa and the MasterCard payment companies, and they're having some success, and it's pretty shitty. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the 10-cent Sony lawsuit, show you a couple new video game trailers. We'll talk about the death of the AAA video game director. Did you have it in your heart and your brain pan that you wanted to be that? Well, you can still make video games, but I wouldn't go that route. We'll talk about that because of an article that just dropped earlier today. Tech, is that the goods?
It was your daughter.
Oh, well, that's better than the goods. Okay. But not the Amazon package yet. I'll take my kid any day. Anyway, all right, so let us begin. Although, actually, I have a question. So I was looking last night. I was like, whose gloves are these? And I walked over, and you were playing something. What the fuck is that you're playing right now? What is that game? Is that Pal World still?
No. There's a couple games I was playing. I was playing Horizon Zero Dawn.
Why?
Forbidden West.
You've gone back to that? You said you finished it. And you hated it.
I beat the full game. I beat the DLC. And now...
Here, buddy.
Now we're playing New Game Plus.
What is the matter with you? Up, Ace, up. No, I'm not being silly. What is the matter with you?
The game was not fun to play.
Okay. And you decided to finish it.
Yeah.
And now you're playing more of it.
Yeah.
Because
I have this like drive for like completionism in a game, and now I have to go back and do the New Game Plus content that's available, which is like the highest tier armor sets and weapons, and you can now get all the collectibles a lot easier. I didn't get all the collectibles in the first run of the game, so now that I'm in New Game Plus, I'm going to go and get all the collectibles.
Yeah, see, this is the real problem. Like, and this is why people say, Jaffe, you have such bad video game takes. I can't, you're not, I'm the weirdo here. There's a lot of people like you. And y'all are fucked up and weird.
Yeah, there's not enough.
Like, that is a waste of your fucking time. There is so much. What's it going to do? You must have popped trophies, platinums before. You must have gotten 100%. Your life isn't better. We're both still fat. You still sleep badly because you're in pain.
Yeah.
what has gotten better for you that this is worth your time? Go play something new.
It's fun. And then
Okay,
once I
well, that's
do
fair.
this,
I mean, if you like it, even if you can do it on a shit game,
yeah,
that's fine.
the story was not cobbled, I think, at great pacing. I think that a lot of the dynamics for how they present the information for the game is like boring, and again, the pacing is bad. But completing it will feel good. And then after this, the next game is Elden Ring, which I have not played at all.
That's a brilliant fucking
I've not
game.
played a single minute of Elden Ring.
Maybe I'll play Elden Ring again while you're playing it.
Yeah.
Because I have a beautiful book that I want to replay it with all the lore and everything, which is very hard to get your head around in world. At least it was for me. So I think I might play. I love that game. That's my favorite. That's my favorite game of all time, I would say, or in the top three. Top three.
Okay.
The other one that I am playing right now that might compete with it is Cyberpunk 2077. I finally cleared a hole in my gaming schedule, and I said I'm going to go back to that. Started a new character, and I loved it the last time I played it, and I never got close to finishing it, but I played like 12 hours and super immersive.
Yeah.
Now I'm playing it on GeForce or whatever, with streaming it, so I've got the best looks I can get. I wish you could mod it. I don't think you can run mods in GeForce because they're just running off their PC.
Yeah, because it's their file.
Right. So I'm missing some of those things that could actually make the game look even sharper, but as is with everything turned up, it's just so beautifully immersive. It's probably the most immersive simulation I've played. Maybe Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is probably a better simulation, but this is a lot more engaging. So I am about 8 hours in, and I am addicted. I just, every free moment I want to go back into that world because it's so wonderfully realized. I love it. You finished it, I assume, correct?
Cyberpunk? I've beat the base game.
But Phantom Liberty, have you done that one?
3 times. I have not started Phantom Liberty.
Okay. You beat it 3 times, and you started your character in each of the 3 different...
The 3 different
Corpo
playthroughs,
and...
yeah.
Okay.
Street Rat and Nomad or whatever.
Nomad, yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's great, though.
It's a beautiful game.
So good.
Yeah.
It's so good. So I'm playing that, but...
yeah. There's a mod that released for the Cyberpunk 2077 community, which people have been asking for, but they didn't know how to ask for it. In your little starting home, little apartment complex, the way to get from, I just saved my game and I have to go outside to the cities. I have to go all the way through these people, then I have to find the elevator.
To save your game?
The place you start off is like that rinky-dink apartment, right? And
You
a lot
don't
of the
start
quests,
the game there.
No, well, you essentially start the game.
I start the game in the garage.
You do
the Nomad.
You do the... Well, no, eventually that leads you to... After you finish the tutorial.
Every time you reload it, if you're not,
And then there's a lot of quests that'll get you back into a little rinky-dink apartment.
Yeah.
Someone just released a trash slide mod, which gets you immediately from that apartment straight out into the fucking streets. You find this little like trash chute, and you slide out of it.
That's cool.
And someone did the math on it. It's like, well, if you follow all the quests. Potentially you spend like 23 minutes in game time just traversing that shitty apartment to get out to like the actual map, because all the quests you have to go back to your fucking thing, go back out and back in, back out.
You can just jump and take a few points of damage off.
No, you can't.
You can't?
No. So yeah, now it's just boom.
Well, I will tell you, I like going back to her apartment. Like, I like going... I mean, I live in that world. I love that world. So I'll go... After a mission, I put her in the shower.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you don't see anything. It's not like it's a sexual thing.
No, but it's immersive.
It's very immersive. I'll put her in the shower. I'll change her clothes. I'll have her sit and watch. I know it's crazy, but I just find... And I know people are like, well, other games have done that. Yeah, but not as well as they're doing it in this setting. Because this setting, to me, is a lot more... compelling, and I want to role play in this world a lot more than like in a Witcher environment or I mean, Elden Ring really isn't a sim. Elden Ring is an adventure action adventure game. So this is the shit. I love it.
You never mess with Skyrim too much, right?
I mess with it a little bit, but not.
There's some really in-depth, in-world experience mods you can get in the game where you have to like manage your nutrition. You have to have like the right amount of food, then water, and you didn't sleep, so now you're getting debuffs for not going to bed enough, right? Yeah. And the quality of where you sleep and all the everything comes into a factor, and it makes the game super immersive.
All right. I mean, I may go back. I mean, I want to go back after this and spend more time in Starfield. There's rumors that there's going to drop something relatively big at Gamescom. And I still haven't done all the I've done the base Golden Path several times, but I haven't done a lot of the faction missions, which I hear are great. I love that game as well. So I think maybe the older I'm getting, the more I'm really enjoying the simulation stuff. And I saw a story today, and I only read the headline, so I apologize, but I saw a story today that said Americans spend 50% of their time now online. Or maybe it was more, maybe it was 80, but I think it was 50, right? And at first I'm like, okay, it's a the sky is falling headline, but then I'm like, well, if I can spend a lot of time in Night City, I know that sounds so lame. I know that sounds so fucking lame, but Night City's cooler than San Diego. I mean, is that dumb? Does that make me a loser? Probably, but...
Yeah, they spend 5.4 hours a day online, either browsing, working, or gaming, or looking at social media, but connected to an electronic device.
So what did they give you a percent?
Well, most people are awake for about 16 hours a day, right?
So it's
sometimes it's
20
it's 14 hours, but yeah, so they're spending 5.4 hours. So it's about half.
It's a little less than half.
It's a little less than half.
Yeah, but it's a lot.
It's about.
And I get it. I fucking get it. I mean, you start to really think about it, and I mean, is that? I don't know. Maybe it's an age thing. Maybe you're not there yet because you're young and full of piss and vinegar. I don't fucking know. But at my age now, I look at it and I'm like, I'd rather spend time in Night City, or I'd rather spend time on the couch with the family, lost in a show, and we're doing it together. But I don't know. I would be curious if that's some kind of, like, a therapist would probably tell me that's really unhealthy. But I don't know. I like what I like, I suppose.
Who knows what's healthy anymore?
I don't know. Hey, Jaffe, I love you, but your grumpiness gives me so much fear that I have to beat off to quell the anxiety. Please relax. I love you. Okay, thanks. Bye. Thank you. Is that SF? I can't see.
That's SF.
Well, SF, first off, don't let me get in the way of a good time. I appreciate the super chat, SF. Thank you very much. I'm not grumpy. I just don't put up with horse shit. That's the difference. See, that's what a lot of you guys don't understand, is that I'm not grumpy. I just know what I want, know what I like, and so it's hard for me to put up with bullshit is all. It doesn't mean I'm right and you're wrong. By the way, let us tell you how we're doing Gabbing and Games for the next 2 weeks. We'll be doing this show Monday through Friday, and we will be getting the chats, of course, not just the super chats, but chats from the members. If you would like to become a member, it'll cost you only $4.99. And if you become a member, you get yourself into the watch party of the first 3 episodes of Twisted Metal this weekend that we're going to watch together in the Discord, so consider a membership. We'll be going over each of our topics, and then we'll be opening it up to the chat right after each topic. So it's not that we're ignoring you. It's just that we're going to get through a chunk because we're going to be chopping these up as individual videos. So that may be why you might feel ignored, but you're not being ignored. You're just, we're not at that part of the show. But let's go to the chat right now before we get into our first story today, which is, what is our first, the itch thing is the first story?
The first thing I have lined up is Sony suing Tencent.
Oh, yeah. We got to talk about that. Rocker Matt, good to see you, buddy. Jaffe, when will you be playing games on stream? Jaffe, what do you think about a Discord listening party for music we've wanted to show you? Rocker Matt, Tech, why don't you go first?
So I do plan on getting through the games Jaffe's made on stream. I probably be streaming that on my channel as to not like cloud the content on Jaffe's channel. And that might be either an early morning thing before you do Gabbing and Games, or it'll be a weekend thing where I just do like a whole block of time just playing games.
As for me, I'm not a fan of a listening party, just because like Tech sent me a song the other day which was 1 minute long.
Can I play it?
No, and I'm just like it may be an ADD thing. I don't
like music.
I love music, but I don't. How do I articulate this? I don't enjoy clicking on things or watching things or listening to things other people send me unless it's very clear why. Like if my brother will send me something on YouTube and it's like, oh, like he sent me something the other day, which was like, look at these cool lightsaber replicas that you can actually smash into each other and you can fight with them and they don't break. I knew what I was getting, right? But somebody sending me a song like, listen to this cool song. I'm like, No, I have other things I already want to do. And that's just a me thing, and I apologize. Jacob Martin says, Jaffe, you were fucked up Friday. I was. I enjoyed it very much. I saw beings. I saw the essence of my parents that were in the room, in the ceiling, and they looked like cloud beings. They were just like clouds moving. They were letting me know they were keeping a watch over my kids, which was delightful. And it was a lot of fun. And then Tech, that's not his wife, but his girlfriend, which is my daughter,
as you know.
has a great Lucky Strike song. We know. Thank you for saying that. I'll let her know. I'm Tech and we're always talking about how, she could put some things up on the YouTube and build a little bit of a fan base there. But I'm sure she'll appreciate you saying.
Seems like Rocker Matt is clarifying about the listening stuff. It's not like a big event where you have to listen to every single song. But if you're just hanging out in the Discord and someone's playing some music.
Yeah. I would love to, I've never listened to the whole album of Pink Floyd, The Wall.
Yeah.
Or Dark Side of the Moon. I've listened to songs, but to get really high and have a Discord listening party of something like that, I think would be amazing. I would love to do that, Rocker Matt.
Yeah. Maybe Friday after.
We should
after the stream. We may set a little goal.
Let's set that up. All right. All right. Where are we starting with? The Sony lawsuit. This is some crazy shit. I'm interested in it for the main reason of how do they think they're going to get away with this? And I did a little bit of research, but so one of Sony, in my opinions, why would you rip off Horizon? Rip off God of War, rip off Last of Us, rip off Interstellar. But that, I will say the world of Horizon's pretty cool. And the Tencent guys came over to Sony and they pitched them this game that was basically a mobile version of Horizon. Sony said thanks, but no thanks. And then lo and behold, suddenly they come out with the image on the right, which is called Light of something. I don't know what it's called, some mobile game. And Sony stepped up, and in San Francisco, and this is going to be meaningful, they filed a lawsuit and said, look, your character looks like our character. The wasteland with the robotic monster animals, that's our shit. There's a whole host of things. They called it like a slavish ripoff or a slavish copy. Light of Mortrim or something is what it's called. And, China does this a lot. You guys must have seen the World of Warcraft theme park, which was all based on like World of Warcraft Blizzard stuff. And it's shut down now, not because of lawsuits. It just went out of business, I think. But it's not that, trademark and copyright is not illegal. In China, it is, but you get away with what you can get away with over there. But Sony said, okay, you have to stop this. You have to pay us damages, and you can't continue to infringe on our copyright. And they filed it in America. And that matters, obviously, because if you file, even if you file a lawsuit in America and the jury gives Sony $1 billion in damages, obviously, if you're in China, you're like, go fuck yourself. I don't care. That doesn't always happen, but it can happen because they're like, well, we don't really recognize your law.
Yeah.
And if you file it in China, you have to be really particular because their legal system and copyright system and all that it's different enough that you want some real experts on Chinese copyright law.
It's not even just different. If you haven't heard, China has recently, I think in the past month, has taken away their protections on certain high class or high fashion trademarks. It's like YSL.
Whose protection?
Well, the big like luxury brand companies, right? So like
okay.
like YSL, like Gucci, like Prada.
That are not based in China.
They're not based in China, but they're saying like, oh, a Chinese manufacturer wants to make a bag that looks like yours. Okay, yeah, we don't care.
Right.
And they're just flat out just not gonna enforce some type of copyright claim from these companies that are in the UK.
So that's another reason. But now, what Sony's doing, which is probably their only resolve here, is if you file it in San Francisco, even if China says, go fuck you, we're going to ignore it, they can force, or they can basically say to other companies that do business with Tencent, like kind of like what's happening with itch.io and Steam, like payment processors, distribution models that basically Tencent needs that work through Sony. They're like, okay, fine, but if you work with Tencent for this, you're not going to work with us. And so I assume what's going to happen is they're going to use that as their leverage and say, we should probably settle this unless you want to basically not have your games on these platforms. So, we'll see where it goes. I mean, it's obvious violation. I mean, not only is it blatant ripoff, but they have what they call, at least in American court, what did they call it when we got sued for God of War? They were trying to prove that we had seen, because that's a real key part to this, is that did anybody influential on the team have access to this?
Yeah, prior knowledge of.
Yeah, and it's a term called something, I forget, but they spent a lot of time trying to prove it, and they never could because we never saw it. But in this case, the fact that
they had reached out
they
previously.
went, yeah, it's like, we want to make this game and this is what it is, and Sony said no, so they went off and made it anyway. It's like, it's pretty open and shut, I would assume, as a layperson, but I don't fucking know. Tencent's a big fucking company, one of the biggest in the world. Are they the biggest game publisher in the world? They might be.
Ooh, it has to be.
They're huge.
Microsoft?
Game publisher.
Was that not the same thing?
Well, I mean, in terms of money, but I really, honestly, I don't know.
For what? No.
Where are you going? Hey, Sarah. Yeah. Somebody gave you a great compliment about your Lucky Strike song. Oh, what? Yeah, on the chat just now. They said Sarah's song is Lucky Strike is great. They even remembered the title. So, keep on, baby. All right. But yeah, there we go. We'll see where this goes. My guess is they're going to settle this. They don't want to be in a bad way with Sony.
Yeah, especially because the whole payment processor thing. That is a very good argument for why they would have to be incentivized to settle. It's
the only incentive they have. It's the only lever they have to pull. It sounds like. I mean, it's from my, again, Hogue or somebody in the video game industry law could tell you, but okay.
Have you been chewing your pipe?
I always chew my pipe, yeah.
It's broken.
Yeah.
Well.
Look at this now. But I do like that that's what they chose to rip off, but I don't want to look at all of them because there's a lot, but bring up the thing I put up there about the weirdest rip-offs. I mean, they are absolutely shameless in China over this shit. They really do not care. These are 85 products from China that didn't give a fuck, and we'll go through like 10 or 15. We're not going to spend much time on them, but you can find it for yourself. Dolce and Banana, that's real. They don't give a fuck. Bimbos.
It's Michael Soft.
Bimbos. I don't even know what it is.
Mike.
There you go. Mike. Your mom goes to China. It's like she thinks she's bringing you back something cool. It's like, Mom, really? That one actually is kind of cool.
Yeah.
To be in high school and you're wearing like clearly bootleg.
Yeah.
There's actually, I don't think there's shame in that. I think that's really neat.
Well, it depends on like the area. I imagine you go to like a preppy, nice school. Like you get to fucking wear Mikes and not Nikes.
I don't think they know what that would be. They would go, what the fuck? And it's a good story.
Maybe. Kids are ruthless.
Yeah, but that's I guess it depends on who the kid is that's wearing them, right?
Yeah.
If it's the popular kid, it's intentionally ironic.
Yeah.
If it's the poor kid, it's like you can only afford mics. Oh, poor kid, man.
Mike Air Bunks.
Oh, man. It doesn't say red labia, but in my fantasies, it's called red labia.
But it's supposed to be Johnny Walker, but it's Johnny Worker.
Johnny Worker, yeah. This is my favorite, Special Man. I love that movie. It was so great. There's David Sweat as Special Man.
Diversifying into new sectors, I see. They got Play Store, Google, WhatsApp.
But it's all fashion. Google, Play Store, and WhatsApp are all fashion. They don't give a fuck.
Do you know one of the biggest brands for clothing in South Korea? And this is totally legal, right? Is National Geographic.
No. What do they put on it? Just the logo or like pictures of animals?
No,
and shit?
It's just the logo of National Geographic on like a black T-shirt or like a hiking jacket or something.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
National Geographic.
And they do that all the time with like companies you would never expect to have like clothing brands.
Yeah.
It's
I like that. It beats some bullshit. I mean, National Geographic's Disney now, but still.
Yeah. Or Chevy.
That's a big one?
Chevy clothing.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay. It's like, it's American.
All
it's
right,
good.
what do we got? I think I'm going to get a new pair of iPhones. Now, Apple sued for this, and they actually lost, believe it or not.
Yeah?
Yep. What else do we got? iPhone shoes. Burger, Madam, and Sir instead of Burger King.
Less monarchy.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Master Beef, okay. And then what else do we got? I love that one. Game Child. Like, why even go out of your way to change the name at that point? Just call it a Game Boy, put Nintendo. I mean, it's not like they're trying to avoid a lawsuit.
Yeah.
They just don't care. So you may as well just own it and avoid confusion, but whatever. Anyway, there's a lot more of these, but we'll move on.
Pimp.
Yeah, it's great. Okay. Where else? Where are we going next?
Next story I have is about.
Do we have any chats though on this? Not super chats, but just chats in general before we move to the next story.
Oh, we do. We have a couple. So we do have some super chats coming in.
Okay. No, we already got those.
Oh, we got those.
Yeah.
Then we have these here. Let's see. Rocker Matt says, yeah, with Jaffe's commentary, gets promo 2 channels. Oh, the chat has been asking for me to do this gaming thing on the weekends and for you to
No, they
recommend.
haven't. I just watched it. They didn't ask. They said when. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
I
know. I saw Rocker Man.
Yeah. So they're saying if
The
you
chat.
can recommend games for me to play on the weekend, and then Rocker Matt's saying, yeah, with Jaffe's commentary would be great. So if I play like the first God of War, and you're sitting there with like an art book or a story,
No. We're saving those. My games you have to save.
you want those for your channel.
And I want those for event stuff. We're not giving those away.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Interesting.
other games, sure. Yeah.
Starting with like the earlier stuff. Angie says, a little at Courage. What a handsome boy.
Well, that's Ace, but I don't.
Well, he was in your game
coming
pet.
in. Okay.
Yeah. They
Chinese knockoffs are the ancient secret. Jaffe, yeah. What if there's a Chinese lookalike of Jaffe in China?
There has to be.
Yeah, I'm
You look Chinese.
a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. I get free food at the Chinese restaurant, so.
Well, that's because they just say, take this to go. Don't use our buffet, please.
Is that because the Jew thing?
No, they just
Only
don't. They don't want you to go to
the whole Jew thing in Chinese restaurants.
They'd rather give you a big plate to go than
I
for you to
understand.
sit down at the buffet and eat them out,
I'll eat them out.
house and home.
No, seriously though, there was a great article in the New York Times about Jews and Chinese restaurants because of Christmas. Yeah, it was really interesting. I was like, I was raised Jewish, but I don't think we ever went to a Chinese restaurant.
You also Alabama.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there wasn't a lot open on Christmas because we were in Alabama.
Yeah, there's
and
not a
that
lot
was-
of Jews or Chinese
They
people.
don't. Well, and they don't open shit on Sunday. They certainly ain't going to open anything on Christmas.
Yeah.
So, I did not go down to Comic-Con. No, I enjoyed Comic-Con a great deal on my computer. I liked watching. There's some great footage, high definition footage, broken up by every single aisle. I had this total little geek out party with myself where I would watch it, and if I saw something I liked, I would go to the website of the aisle vendor. Maybe I'd order stuff. Maybe what's coming today.
Could be.
That's what I got from there. But yeah, no, I just found that a lot more fun, honestly. And plus, I was really high Friday, so Saturday
high.
was a wash,
Yeah.
and then yesterday was there was a lot of chores and business stuff we had to get done.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Dead Space creator Glenn Schofield.
Schofield. Yeah, this is interesting to me. He was interviewed. The headline is "Maybe I've directed my last game." He feels making a new AAA game feels a long ways off, and it got me thinking. I own Callisto Protocol. I haven't played it. This guy's done Call of Duty games. He obviously was the key guy on the Dead Space game, and Callisto. There are some people who, excuse me, there's some people who have come around to this game and said, actually, it's pretty good. It got a bad rap. But regardless, it didn't do well. It was a very expensive game. And him and his daughter, he says that his daughter, who also worked at Striking Distance, which was the company, were laid off.
Yeah.
And she had this really cool idea. She's been a developer for about 8 years. And he and her worked on it for a while. Then they went around, built a prototype, and they tried to raise funding. And there was interest, but they started out with the $17 million budget, and then they tried to drop it to 10, and eventually people were like, okay, maybe we'll give you $2 to $5 million. And he's like, I think, he just couldn't get it made. So he's kind of, in effect, at the moment, retired, and kind of said, I'm kind of done with AAA game development, maybe game development in general. But what I think is really interesting about this, though, is I really do think we are at the end, or we've already arrived there at like
The end of AAA?
No, the end of AAA game directors as having the kind of clout and power and aspirational job that they had. Because fundamentally, if you're going to be making a AAA game these days, it's so expensive that there's already so many people. It doesn't mean the game doesn't need a director, but that there's so many people in your ear saying you've got to do this, you've got to do that, this has to be met, blah blah blah, that it's almost more really a producer, creative producer role.
Yeah.
And audiences in AAA don't really show up for vision, right? They, single player games are hard enough to make and get funded and be successful. It's not like back when I was making games where it's like, oh, that feels like a Cliff game or a Jaffe game or, Kojima or Glenn Schofield.
Very influenced by these statistics and like, oh, this is what the analytics show, and you have to go this because this is what's trending.
Yeah, and if you're already in those positions, if you're a Neil Druckmann, a Cory Barlog, or whatever, but I would argue that, and even Kojima, I mean, there's definitely Kojima as a AAA force, but if let's just say if Cory, it used to be that Cory could have knocked on any publisher's door and gotten a green light for something. And he could still probably get a green light for a prototype or an indie game or whatever. But it's more now about, do you have the full team? Have you done this kind of game before? It's too fucking risky.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of these guys that struggle to get back in at that director level where directing is still today what it was when they were doing it. It's one of the reasons that's many reasons, but one of the reasons I don't really have any interest in going back. And then if you go back at AA or single or indie, games are so much easier to make now that the people who have the ideas are also, almost like the old days, are already the artists and the programmers. So you don't really need a guy coming in with ideas and vision and all that, because just go make it yourself, if you've got that.
An argument was made on, I forget what gaming forum. Do you know who Concerned Ape is? That's his moniker. I think his name is.
I would hope it's a moniker. Otherwise, his parents are
Eric
horrible
Barone.
people. Yeah, I don't know who it is.
Eric Barone is the single person, one guy dev team for Stardew Valley.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Right, so he made the game entirely by himself.
Yep.
Every mechanic, every interaction, the coding,
Sound.
all of it was him.
Yep. Did he outsource anything?
No.
Probably a little bit.
No.
Anyway, a lot. Okay. But anyway.
So he does this game. There's almost no one who would argue that he's not a prolific game designer.
I would.
Well,
but I think that's because you're using the word prolific.
Yeah, well, in the sense that out of the indie space, to do it as well as he did is very, very rare. There's going to be thousands and thousands of people that will develop an indie game, not get to level success.
Oh God, no. Yeah. Super successful. Yeah.
In the indie space, there's almost no reasonable path to expect him to manage a AAA project, even though he's proven himself as a game dev.
Well, yeah, and there's no reason to assume that his next game is going to be huge either.
It's not,
because it's
the lightning.
It's the light. It's the lightning in the bottle. It's there. Maybe you could have ChatGPT, or you could have a really great analyst look at what are the ingredients that seem to be there for success in that space. But I'm not saying there aren't developers at the indie level that always make something great. I don't think that's in question. I think what's in question is when something hits like Stardew Valley or Minecraft or Flappy Bird, whatever, that gets into the zeitgeist. It's not like in the movies where back in the day it was Spielberg and everything he made from 76 up to 89 was a blockbuster and he just got it, right? That's not happening in the double or single A, and that's only happening at the triple A when it comes to brands. Look at the key visionaries of Grand Theft Auto. Most of those guys are gone.
Yeah.
One of the guys went off and made his own game, which was that game that just came out, which shat the bed.
It was awful. Yeah.
Something Sight or Mind's Eye or whatever the fuck it is. And again, all of his contributions may have been brilliant, but when you're spending that kind of money and you don't have the team to execute it, your ideas are kind of irrelevant at that point. You've really got to have, you always have to have both anyway, but certainly at that cost. If you can't get in the trenches and fix it, you're at the mercy of, could you also build a great team?
Yeah.
And so but look how excited people are for Grand Theft Auto 6, including myself, even though the main writer's gone, some of the main producers are gone. It's the brand, and it's been the brand for a long time, but I think now more. And so I think that's when Glenn is saying, if this guy who's made some of the greatest games of the last, 20 years can't go out and raise $10 million to make a fucking video game, if I wanted to make games, I've said this for many reasons, and this is, if I wanted to make games and you're watching this show, or if it's you, learn how to code and make your own game. I don't mean go be a great coder like Mark Cerny or who's the id guy, famous guy, Romero and Carmack.
Sid Meier.
Yeah. Well, he's a programmer too.
Yeah.
I don't mean that, right? You can vibe code it. You can use off-the-shelf stuff, but get in there and make it yourself now. And that may not be fun for you. It wasn't fun for me, but I don't see there's a route for you anymore.
No, that's what I was going to say. Like, it seems like even though you have people that they'll self-start, right? They'll do their own thing. They'll make it in the industry. Yeah. They're not going to be the David Jaffes. They're not going to be the Kojimas. They're not going to be the...
You can be that in the indie space, but you
can. Like, I was going to say, is it Edmund McMillan?
Oh, yeah, he's been on the show before. He's great.
Yeah, great guy. He's Super Meat Boy, Enter the Gungeon.
Tale of Balatro or something. I forget the way...
Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, but he also has the one he did after Isaac, which was really fun. Yeah. And he's got this Eugenics coming out soon.
Yeah.
So.
He has been, again, one of these like super stories of success in the indie space.
Yeah, that's a guy that does seem, and he's been really good about building his brand though, and building like his fandom, so they follow him.
Yeah.
So like, I don't think Eugenics is going to come out and be lightning in a bottle unless it is, but it's not going to be because it's good or bad.
He has the hype associated to the name.
Yeah, I think it could be a great game.
Yeah.
And his fans will eat it up, and it will be successful, no doubt. But does it become the next Binding of Isaac?
Yeah, as a consumer,
I don't think he has any control over that. Just look at Genova Chen. You probably don't know who that is, but Genova Chen was this guy. I know him. We don't engage enough to be considered friends, but every time I see him, we get along. We've done stuff together. He used to work at Sony, or in the office with that game company, and they did Journey and Flow and Flower, and it was him and Kelly Santiago coming out of USC. And there was like 10 years there where they were like, could do no wrong. It was like everybody just thought he was the vanguard of the art form, and he may have been. And now he's still working, of course. I think Sky's the last game they put out, but there's a million people doing that now. So him just coming out with another game, it's going to have to catch lightning again in its own way. It's got nothing to do with a conscious choice to do that.
For McMillan as a consumer, right? I'm like your general consumer guy. I'm not really so in depth of the industry and who these people are. I played Isaac, and I've played Super Meat Boy, and I've played...
Well, he didn't do Super Meat Boy. Did he do Meat Boy?
Yeah, he did.
He did Meat Boy first, and then he did Binding of Isaac.
He did Super Meat Boy, then Enter the Gungeon, then Binding of Isaac.
He did not do Enter the Gungeon.
He's the developer of Enter the Gungeon.
I'm almost certain he's not.
It says here.
Almost certain he's not.
Roguelike, produced by American studio Dodge and Roll, published by Developer Digital, directed by Edmund McMillan.
That so seems wrong.
That he did that?
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
I don't know.
Anyway.
It's on his Wikipedia and everything.
Right.
But play these games, had no idea there was some type of like connectivity there with like the guy. I was like, these are games that I like to play. These are enjoyable games I can step into. He's not going to get a AAA title.
Well, he might, but not because of that. He'll get meetings, but unless he shows up, and he might get a job, like as a systems designer. But if he shows up to Naughty Dog and says, like, I want to direct the next Uncharted, look what I've done, they're not going to go, okay. They're going to go, no.
Yeah, that job is kind of just, it's done, I think.
The job is still needed, but it's a different kind of job now.
Now
I would
it's
say.
corporate.
Unless you're already entrenched, like the Corys and Neils and Kojimas. And what's interesting about McMullen or what McLovin is there was the guy, I forget what his name is. I have it written down. Who died last week. This is a couple last week old story, but it's worth talking about. He was one of the key guys who did Oblivion, Skyrim. Actually, not. He did Elder Scrolls. What's this guy's name? Julian. I forget his last name.
Lefay.
Yeah. And he went off to work on a different company. But this guy died of cancer last week. And two of the kind of memorials, one was by Todd Howard. This is what he said. It kind of reminds me of what you're talking about with McMullen. He says, Julian's legacy, his work and spirit will live on both in our memories and in our games. And then his new game, The Wayward Realms, which he was a key on in his new company, they said Julian's legacy will live on in every realm, every quest, every moment of wonder that players experience in the game. And it got me thinking about this guy, and I'm not going to say his name right. He's in Japan, who did two of my favorite games. He also worked on like Street Fighter and other things, but he did Time Pilot and Gyrus, which were arcade games in 83, 84, 82, 83. And this idea of the choices you make in video games leaving behind like your essence because of those choices. When I play Time Pilot and Gyrus, there's clear, it's just one coder. That's all it was, coder and art.
Yeah.
But you feel those games have a similarity and a sense of connection. I think the fact that when Todd Howard is saying this and these guys at Wayward Realms are saying this, the idea that even though he's gone now, the world, but like, because he left kids behind, he was a dad, that his kids could sit down one day and play through Wayward Realms or play through Elder Scrolls and almost feel like their dad is there. You know what I'm saying? Because even though it's not an intentional thing you do when you're creating, it's the choices you make reflect who you are, which I think is the neatest thing. And the older I've gotten, the more I've really liked that. I've never been about legacy, like no one's going to remember any of us, but I like the idea that those choices do live beyond you, not because I want to be immortal, but I just kind of like that I'm still in some way able to express something to people that I care about, like my kids and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's cool that this guy left this much of a legacy behind. It sucks he died at 59.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he would trade it for 10 more years with his family, but that's kind of neat. It's kind of neat that, because you're a big Elder Scrolls guy, right?
Huge
so,
Elder Scrolls guy, yeah.
you know, I haven't really played those games. So all those choices are based on their life experience, but it brought me a sense of joy and a sense of connecting with that person, even though I have no idea who they are. I dig that. It makes me happy.
Yeah. I heard a little heartfelt story growing up. I had it was like an IT specialist class I took in high school. My teacher's name was Howard Fish.
Idiot.
Right? Crazy name.
Fucking loser.
His son was the guy that designed the UI for the menus in Halo.
Really?
With the 343 team.
Cool.
And he
Wait, they were 343 by then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was in that class in 2014, 2013. Okay. So he was saying, like, you know, me and my son don't talk too often. You know, he moved out of Las Vegas. He's working in the games industry. But I went and bought the game. And looking at the interface, he's like, I can see why my son like made this choice. Or made that choice. Yeah, and he was like, it's really cool. He's like, I haven't played the game yet. He's not really a big gamer. You know, he's an old man. But he's like, yeah, I can see like my son's influence here. It's
delightful. It's fucking great. And, you know, the one that always sticks with me is not even a game developer story, but the very famous story, almost like a cliche at this point, but of the guy who found his dad's memory card for, I think it was a Sega Rally.
It was a racing game, and it had the ghost of his
dad.
And going through the thing.
Every choice, even though the dad probably wasn't thinking about, of course not, but those choices were his dad's choices, and it's like you're kind of there with that person.
The end of that story is like the kid, he found his dad's like little ghost runs in the game. He would never finish the race ahead of his dad.
Yeah, because then it would erase.
He'd beat it often. At one point, he got so good at the game, he'd beat it, but he'd just wait at the finish line
for his dad to finish.
To
yeah, it's beautiful. It's fucking beautiful. Let's go to the chat before we go to the next story. What do we got?
Let's take a look.
We already did that one. Did we lose the chat?
We got disconnected. Hold on.
Are we still streaming?
Hold on.
We may not be streaming anymore. Well, that was a waste. But we have it recording, so we're good.
We're up. Chat disconnected. Please wait while I try to reconnect you. Connections.
Test. Oh, Anna G's back there.
Yeah, I refreshed this one. I have to refresh this one.
Okay. Okay, you got to refresh it?
Yeah, it's refreshing. Rothermod says, I say learn game design and learn to code if you want to solo dev a game.
That's the only way. It's the only thing you. Yeah, I mean, like Rob's making his own game right now. You don't have to answer to anybody. It's his vision, and that's the way it's gonna be for a lot of people.
Yeah. SF says, I see the chat, but it just seems like people aren't chatting.
Yeah, well, it's members only, so you know we have it set to members only on the show.
I'm making a game just kind of messy with all the particles.
Yeah.
Work of art, says Energy. That's great.
All right.
I think we should still get these visionary games, but like lower the budgets and scope.
It's just different. You just have to learn to code
Yeah.
within reason. I think it's AI is making it a lot easier, thank God. But because not everybody wants to code, down to the fucking metal of the machine. They just want to be able to express themselves through interactivity. That's so much easier now if you're interested. Okay, where are we going? What do we got?
Well, next story I have for you is... Bam!
Oh, people are upset
Sneed
about
director.
this, I guess. But I think this is kind of interesting. You got this was Friday or Thursday of last week where...
Someone was reaching out to us about this.
Huh?
They were talking to us about this on Friday.
Yeah, that Sony's basically put up an ad for a senior director of multiplatform, and these are for games that are...
Did you apply?
No. These are for games that are out of the year, is what it says. So the game will have, at least if this is to be believed 100%, they're planning on putting more of their stuff out into the world. They're still doing the thing that they've always talked about, which is it'll come to the console first. If it's multiplayer, it'll come to PC and console first, PlayStation console. And then after a year, this new job would help to ramp up this program to get more of their stuff. So we'll probably end up seeing, there's no reason we shouldn't, Spider-Man on Switch 2.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe even on Xbox. The Xbox thing's a little bit interesting because if you buy the new Xbox console, if it's based on the ROG, then you're going to basically be able to play Steam games anyway. So at that point, you don't even really need...
The incentive would be like PlayStation Plus, right? If you're already in multiple different groups, like you're in the PlayStation family and the Xbox family, I have the Xbox console, but I still have a PlayStation Plus membership. I sign in, I get the benefits of having the discounts on those games that are discounted on Xbox, the free games that are offered by PlayStation Plus.
I think that would be great. But I mean, people are upset about it, but I mean, fundamentally, this is just kind of the way of the world. I think, when I think about Nintendo, like Nintendo right now, like even Ghost of Yodi, if I don't want to upgrade, I'll play Ghost of Yodi eventually when it comes to PC or whatever. But Nintendo is the only system right now that, unless I buy, because I do kind of want to play Mario Kart, I do kind of want to play Mario Party, the new one, and I definitely want to play.
I'll go half with you.
Well, it's not. I'm not worried about spending the money so much as,
I have to play the new Pokemon game.
Oh, they say it might be multiplayer too.
Yeah, I will require the new Pokemon game for myself, for my own personal continuance.
You hear that? Let's go. Let's get the super chats in. Awesome Tatum says Switch 2 is so good. Yeah, I have no doubt. But I was thinking about it, and it's like, if those games, and they're not, it'll be a cold day in hell, but it'll eventually happen when those come to PC or those come to another console. But let's just assume they did. As good as those games are, I do think there's something about them feeling cooler because they're exclusive. Like if somebody just said, hey, try this game, Donkey Kong Bonanza. It's got really great reviews, right?
Yeah.
There's like 50 really great reviewed platformers on Steam right now.
Yeah.
It's like the only reason that one's on the radar is because it's an exclusive and there's a lot of marketing. And it happens to be an amazing game from what I hear. I'm not taking anything away from the game. I'm just saying that I do wonder how much of people's fandom comes from the aspect of the exclusivity, and the excitement comes from that versus the actual game itself. And that also maybe goes back into like when you're talking about Stardew Valley. It's like there's nothing sexy about Stardew Valley.
No.
It just works.
It's a farming
and it works
sim.
really fucking well.
Yeah.
And so you find it, you become addicted to it, you fall in love with it, but it's not like it had hype before it came out, And if you don't have the exclusive rocket fuel to give you that hype, it's going to be harder to market your shit. But I also wonder what once everything does go multi-platform, and there won't even be platforms, it'll just be streaming eventually anyway. Then you start to wonder, it's not like the tribalism is going to go away, right? They're going to have to find something else to fight about, right?
Yeah, like it's gonna be like a game design like theory at that point. Like, well,
Which would be great.
Nintendo is all about the gameplay first and this and that, and Sony's all about getting the story out there for you. And then
That's what
That's
the
what the
argument should
have been.
already be anyway.
Yeah, but instead,
It's like arguing Scorsese or Spielberg. That's an argument from people who give a shit and understand the art form.
yeah.
I asked ChatGPT, though. I said, what are the top predictions fans will fight about if exclusivity goes away? Would you like to hear what it said?
No, but
Okay. No, I won't tell you then. Let's move on.
I'll go for it, Jaffe. I hate
fine.
ChatGPT, but the chat
Performance
likes
and visual quality. That makes sense. Although it really won't be a system, so that won't matter. Controller and input methods. That probably won't matter. This one will matter. Subscription services and platforms. Once you get into streaming, it's all about HBO versus Netflix. That makes sense. But all the other ones are still assuming. And then community and culture. Fan bases would argue over reputation, toxicity, friendliness, or skill of players in their ecosystems. I see that one making sense, and I see the one for sub-services making sense of things people would bitch about and complain about. Absolutely. All right, keep going. What you got?
for the chat.
Yeah.
I am now on Team Keemstar for calling Jaffe Joffrey because Jaffe won't call it Yote. He calls it Yodi.
Well, it's not because I'm calling it Yodi because I'm being disrespectful. I just didn't know it's Yote. I don't fucking know.
We were calling it the Rogi. It's the Rog. The Rog
Then
ally.
spell it like it's supposed to be spelled.
No.
Well, fuck you then.
I hate squad-based games. Give me a solo option.
Oh, they're talking about yeah. All right. Did we miss?
Did you know that
we missed a membership from I think Jonathan Boucher, who's been a member. Oh, okay, there it is. I feel like people are blowing this out of proportion. PlayStation is just doing what it does on PC, on Xbox, and Switch too. Yeah, no, 100%. Thank you for being a member for 56 months, sir. No, there's absolutely no doubt. You're absolutely right. But that's what they do, right? I don't really give a shit. I mean, it's a ridiculous thing to argue about, but people are going to argue. And we've been asked about it on previous streams, even Madhouse, so we figured we'd talk about it. But I think it's goofy as shit that people give a fuck. But I mean, I get they do, and I don't want to be a dick, but
yeah,
whatever. Okay.
All
right.
I have another story.
What do you got?
This is Rudolph the Red-Nosed.
No, that's the end. That's a trailer. We want to talk about this. Let's talk about something that every gamer should be pissed about, which is the itch.io Steam
collective shout.
This is some horse shit right here, because I am absolutely 100% all in on the free market. I am all in if MasterCard and Visa wants to say, we don't want the heat from this. They have every right to do that. Steam has every right to try to comply before it becomes, a big deal. But so, what are you going to do? They have a right to do it. But I really do hope there is a company that rises up and says, okay, well, we'll take care of it. These are not porn games. There might be some, and maybe, if Steam doesn't want to sell them, fine. But this whole idea from these guys, the games are part of subcultures online that normalize sexual abuse. This is such a waste of people's time. Everything that they're fighting against in terms of abusing women and normalizing horrific acts that are not consensual, of course we can all agree with that. But we're talking about a country, in America at least, where the president is probably a rapist. Certainly he's been found guilty of sexual assault. Could even be worse. Clinton could be a pedophile. I mean, is this really this is not going to help anything.
Yeah.
Right? And more importantly, though, I think Gabe Newell should be better than this. He should find a better solution.
Well,
then let's just go. We don't want any heat. Let's just fucking cut all these games out. I'm like, dude, really? You out of all of these guys, he was the Halliday. He was the one guy that actually still seemed like a gamer and understood the art form. And now he's just acquiescing to this bullying horseshit?
It seems to be a pretty regular strategy for bigger companies to do, which is like if we are getting into hot waters, just to restrict the entire thing, even if it's just like subsets of the space that they occupy, that does have a problem with it, right? So the biggest argument here is technically there are new laws in the UK and in Australia that would have restricted the sales of certain games in those markets, and Steam was selling it in those markets. So they were violating a law, which by PayPal...
Well, they weren't violating a law. The law said that you have to have an age verification that we find acceptable.
Which they didn't.
Okay, but selling it's not violating it.
It's the...
Not having the ability to determine... Yeah.
So the issue at hand was, because it was found that 2 markets in which Steam was very visibly selling something against the practices that were legal for those areas, they removed all of them, and potentially, because this is a fresh story, right? It's been like a week or 2.
Yeah.
There is going to be a restructuring to change how they go through the verification of your IP, and then say this and say that and do the sales. They might come back with a swing that is pro-consumer, right? Now, I did my research, and there was a huge outpour of support for Steam to bring it back, going against these guys at the Collective Shout. Because, again, Collective Shout sent about 1,020 emails to the payment processors, and that's what got them to make the public claim. Like, oh, yeah, this is bad. We'll hold them accountable. But now other teams of people are reaching out to the payment collectors saying, like, oh, like, what are you doing to verify whether it's illegal or not illegal? Like, what is the steps that you're doing? And they're all said...
They're asking who that?
Visa, MasterCard, PayPal. They're saying, how are you making the determination to hold Steam accountable? Like, what is your steps for verification?
Well, that sounds confusing to me, because Visa is not pulling their support, or they haven't pulled their support at all. But the threat is not, we're going to make Visa say we won't work with you, Steam, because you're violating the new UK law.
That's what Collective Shout did. It's not. You can go. I've gone through it.
It's right there. There's their whole point. That's their webpage.
Again, Collective Shout was reaching out to Steam thousands of times and got no response.
Steam? Okay, you're right.
Then they went to the payment processors and said, hey, Steam, this company is violating the law with these games. Here's the proof of these games being bad in the UK market based on this law. And then that's when
I think you should show me that, because I don't think... I don't
have it prepped, but I can tell you
think you're confusing... I could be wrong, but I think you're confusing the new UK law that just went into effect last week with the fact that this campaign has been going on for a much longer time.
It's been going on for a much longer time.
They're saying...
that law is what caused Steam to then say, you know what, they got us in a bind. We have to remove these just as quickly as we can to get this over with. This has been going on for months, the Collective Shout thing. But the Steam change to removing all these games, and itch.io going from having, I think, 28,000 games in their library down to like 9 to 10,000 left, is from collectively them reaching out to the payment processors and saying, here is evidence of this law being broken in this market, and these companies have a reasonable accountability to ensure that it's not being broken, and they haven't. So then these 2 platforms went and did the removal, which was last week, which is about the time the law got processed, and these guys started doing their upgraded like attack or upgraded campaign.
Okay, but in that case, though, in order for Steam to be compliant with the law and not piss off Visa, they would have to not sell any M-rated game, which is not the case.
That's not... Well, no, because the law is specific in its wording about the adult games, right? Because the games that got removed from Steam are not all porn games.
A lot of them, most of them are. Well, they didn't remove.
The games that were
Blade.
The games that were removed were porn games.
Yep.
But not all porn games were removed. Right? It's a section of the porn games that say stuff like sister fantasy.
But even that that's honestly just click that, because that's some of the games that got removed. Right now, I don't know these games. I'm not defending them or attacking them. But
it's
but hang on a second.
Incest. It's twins.
But again,
it's daughters.
That's the problem I have with it, which is if you're saying it's incest twins and the twins are underage, that's a problem.
No, it's like adult twins.
But if it's adult twins, go fuck yourself. So
I hear
what
you.
they're
I hear
basically
you on-
but what they're basically saying then is any pornography is a problem for this collective shout. It's not that it's because I think we would all agree if you're putting out video games that are about PDFs, you don't want to be selling those. Those are bad and they're probably illegal. But I think stepmom or incest is like the number 1 or number 2 category every year on Pornhub.
In the U.S., these games are not problematic for any law, right? They're probably like morally a little corrupt, right? They're probably like,
Why?
to each their own fantasy or whatever, right? I'm not going to make that argument. But the reason why these games specifically were targeted, because these do fall into the law in the UK and Australia that are saying like fantasies depicting like vulnerable groups related to like families or incest or this or that, that's what they want to remove. If it has like the word rape in it, right, remove that entirely. So that's what Steam went and did. Now, itch.io went a little bit above that and removed a lot of just their adult content because they don't
there's a lot of games that got, not a lot, but there's like 3 games that's a lot to me. Mouthwashing, the biggest one, that's gone off itch.io.
Yeah. itch.io doesn't have the same level of categorization for the content within the game to classify whether or not this would have fallen like these, which these are all Steam. These are very visibly family-oriented games that were
family-oriented.
Sexual in nature. Because it all says like daddy twins, incest family, incest. It's just family, daughters, right? Those were the titles that Steam removed. But itch.io went above that and said, we're just removing adult games. We have to take them down right now. We'll work on it. We'll go through the classification stuff, the categorization, and be able to put the ones that are okay with those laws back up.
So, okay, assuming you're right, it seems like I let's assume you're right.
Yeah.
And you very well may be.
I spent like 3 hours on this.
Okay, but at that point, you're saying that they said the hit we'll take by removing these games that don't really sell a lot anyway is much smaller than if we, for the next 3 weeks until we get this settled, simply stop selling games in the UK. Or the
well, yeah, because like if they stop selling like Elden,
that's what I'm saying. So you're thinking
so
that's
Steam's direction right now. Steam also issued an apology to the developers saying, "Hey, well, we're working on this process. Sorry about that." And I don't know why, but for each listing that a company had on Steam that got removed, Steam gave them $100, which I don't know if that's anything in the grand scheme of things.
Maybe that's a lawsuit thing, like you had to pay to be listed. I don't know.
But they gave back $100. itch.io, I don't know if they have the same policy or whatever for what they gave back to the developers they removed from their listings. But yeah.
But so Steam put out a statement, and did they basically say, like, do you have the statement?
I don't have a copy of the statement because it was sent to developers privately. But I do have, I don't have it on here, but I can find it. Steam added a new rule for developers publishing onto their platform that says, and this is not verbatim, but it's any game which may violate the policies of a payment processor cannot be posted onto our platform. It doesn't say that does. It just says that may violate.
But what are the policies?
Well, for example, PayPal, which I do have their statement here, they will not process payment that can fall under illegal activities for the region that they're in or whatever, right? And now PayPal's also said we don't verify every single transaction by saying this is a legal or non-legal transaction, but they do have a algorithm-based tool which comes from reporting of other people that says, oh, this seller is selling illegal materials, and so they take that into a higher consideration for whether or not they're going to process or put it at high risk of illegal activity under their payment processing, which it becomes this whole money thing. Like if Steam is labeled as a high risk thing, then they can, I believe, PayPal can then take that money back or whatever through some legal course.
Right.
So Steam doesn't want to get their platform put into the high risk category for PayPal or for Visa or MasterCard. So that's what's happening. Currently, these platforms are going to go through and make reviews and better categorize and hopefully
but the problem I have with this, or the confusion I have about this, is what is the criteria? Is the criteria porn, which I have a big problem with?
It's not. It is.
But according to that,
It is porn that directly infringes between the laws recently placed in the last couple of weeks in the UK.
but
or
that
Australia.
doesn't make any sense. The laws that have been placed in the UK in the last week have not been about. It has been that if it's a game that's not intended for kids, the law is you have to have some sort of verification check.
Which Steam does have a verification check.
I understand, but that law would have nothing to do with content. That would affect and it does, by the way.
Yeah.
Xbox starting next week is going to start doing age checks in Europe.
Yeah.
That has nothing that you still so you can't play.
I know, but that's what Steam's messaging has been.
Okay, but
Is
that's what I'm saying. This is not. I don't think we have the story right. There's no way we have the story.
Well, no,
right.
the whole thing has been like this big confuffle of like what is going on, what's not going on, because Steam doesn't have like a huge public statement about what's going on. They just have updated their policies on what developers can publish. They've restricted games that are related to incest or family stuff, right?
See, that's where I get a little confused by this.
And then bigger title adult games that have been named in the like accusations from this group have also been removed, like mouthwashing, right?
I don't think mouthwashing was named. I think mouthwashing got caught in the.
Well, out of the 1,000+ emails that this collective have sent out, I think mouthwashing may have been.
Go to the chat. Maybe they know more than we do on this. Something doesn't add up.
You don't just believe me, is what it is.
Because it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense to me either. I've looked into it, and this all feels kind of strange.
You'd be surprised what you see in the Nintendo shop. No, I wouldn't. I know exactly what you're talking about. Is this Da Vinci says about a stupid censorship law? What is a porn game versus Stellar Blade? Well, that is my issue. I have absolutely no problem if they, even though I don't like the European law for a number of reasons, but I understand the heart behind it. If they need to be in line with that, they should do that. But that isn't them coming in and saying, we have a problem with this specific content. That's them coming in and saying any content that hits this bar that has got nothing to do with this law, all the law cares about is doesn't hit this bar that's already been defined elsewhere, you have to have age verification. That is this. That's the problem I have, is that you're having people, these fucking, loudmouth Karen fucks in Australia that are trying to tell everybody
what art can
over the age of 18 what the content can be. And it's like, go fuck yourself, you fucking whore. And I say whore because it's a woman. But
it's a guy.
No, it's a woman too. The main.
But there's guys too.
Yeah, but the main vocal person is this woman who I can't stand, so I'm mad at her. But go back to that the collective shout thing. I can't stand these people. I fucking can't stand them. It's like, really? This is what you do with your fucking time? I get their heart's in the right place. We all want to protect kids, but this is, then go after the politicians, go after the priests and the religious figures that are diddling the kids. You're going to go after this shit? You're going to go after this fucking really? And you're going to do it at the expense of an art form? Are they going to go after movies next? You can't have a story, about incest if it's it's fuck these people. I fucking hate these people.
Yeah, and this all began.
I was going to say if it's a story about incest, but it's meaningful and heartfelt and it's about the track. No, fuck that. People should be able to make a goddamn comedy musical about incest as long as it's not about underage people and it's consensual every goddamn day of the week. If that's what they want to do.
I'm a fan of the Latina Helen Keller musical that they're making.
Whatever the fuck they want to make.
It's art.
I cannot handle these motherfucking people. I'm not sure Stellar Blade is porn. That's strange because it's Street Fighter clothes. Well, again, there is no definition of porn. You're supposed to know it when you see it, and it's an M-rated game, and that's it. What is that?
Have you heard of the game No Mercy?
Yeah, it sounds pretty awful.
Yeah, it's a grape simulator, incest simulator. I don't know. We can't go censor these words anymore. Like, it was a pretty.
So what?
It was a pretty intense game.
And I have no problem if Steam wants to say, we don't want that on our platform because it violates our values.
Yeah, but
I have
not.
a problem. They weren't, right?
Yeah, it's the payment processors.
Yeah, and it's like, really?
But this is what motivated Collective Shout to say, well, look, we were able to get this done. Let's go after everything. Let's fucking do it. Yeah, right? This has been handled
so poorly as it relates to the PR for Steam and Itch and these payment processors.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to try to buy something anywhere else than those places. And again, right now it's a monopoly, but it won't always be because this is how competition works.
Yeah. Steam might
Someone's going to come up and say, okay, well, fuck you. We'll take care of it. We'll just do it through a new version of PayPal or whatever.
Yeah.
Fucking cowards.
Bitcoin.
Whatever. I'll start using Bitcoin at that point. I cannot handle these busybody fucks. And the worst part is they think they're being righteous. They think they're doing great work. And it's like, dude, we all want to protect fucking children, man. That is not what this is about. This is church lady horse shit that I saw in Alabama every goddamn day that I lived there. And I cannot fucking handle it. And now I'm in a bad mood. So let's move on. Unless the chat's got something we want to talk about.
Jaffe, does this make you feel more American for supporting the freedom of speech?
No. This is not a government issue.
Well, no, like the policies put in place by like the UK. Freedom of speech, freedom of expression.
The policies put in place by the UK are valid in what they're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
I don't like the way they're trying to achieve it. I think it is a sledgehammer, and a lot of companies are going to get hurt because of it. Bullshit. I'm just so fucking sick of it. God forbid you'd lose a little bit of a percentage of your fucking quarterly earnings, but you did the right thing. There is no right thing for these people. It's simply whatever they can get away with is the right thing, and that's what they'll do. And I know I'm not saying anything new, but there are just days where you have an awareness of it, and it makes you want to fucking vomit. That you have to share the planet with these fucking greedy fucking morons.
Well, Steam in particular, I don't know how greedy MasterCard withdrew any processing of payment from their store.
No, that's not what I'm saying. See, this is why I think you're confused. I think Visa, MasterCard, PayPal are terrified of the PR fallout. It's got nothing to do with, we don't have a problem with what you sell, just don't break this new law in Europe. That's not.
No, I agree. They're terrified, but I'm
right.
saying
So what I'm if I am Steam,
if Steam stood up against the payment processors,
but the payment processors are basically saying. That's what I'm saying. What is Visa saying the problem is? If Visa is saying you're breaking the law, then the greed comes from Steam saying, you know what, you're right. So we're not going to sell any M-rated title until we get this solved in 2 weeks, and we'll take the hit.
I think Visa, like PayPal at least said this, and I think MasterCard said this, is they don't have a system in place to do their own self-verification of the products that are being sold in a marketplace to see whether or not they're valid for legal process or not.
Yeah.
Right? But what they do work on is reporting tools.
You already said that. I got it.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is if they were to make the exception and validate Steam or whatever, saying like, are they breaking the law or are they not breaking the law, that might set a precedent that they now have to go and verify all their transactions or the majority of their transactions.
I do not think this is a breaking the law thing. I think this is Visa going.
Well, yeah. So that's me and you agree. It's not about the breaking the law thing.
So
it's about the process in which they hold people accountable. It has to stem from PR, or they have to adjust their entire industry.
I gotta look. I gotta see what. I got to see what it is Visa's saying. I would be very surprised to learn Visa said, hey, man, we don't really care about what they're selling as long as it doesn't break the new European law. That I don't believe is what they're saying. I think they're acquiescing and threatening to pull because, we didn't know that our payment processing was this, that, and the other. Because then you could say, okay, Steam, don't sell M-rated titles in the territories that have this new law until we solve it, and we'll take the hit because we were too slow. But we're not going to punish the art form and punish the gamers. That, to me, is why I think they're greedy. And shame on them, unless I got the story wrong. But
Elon Musk responded saying that he wanted to get his own payment platform going soon.
Great.
To kind of replace Visa, MasterCard, PayPal. Let's see. I have a spokesperson for PayPal said it couldn't comment on individual customers, but PayPal is committed to maintaining a safe platform for its customers, zero tolerance policies towards any illegal activity, any accounts found.
It's got nothing's illegal.
But that's the point. It says, I think here. I gotta find the position, but they do mention that as a company, Mastercard and Visa have agreed that they do not go out and do self-validation.
I got it. I know that, but what
so it has to be PR based.
No, it doesn't.
No. But again, they could change it.
You're confusing Visa being upset that they are selling products that run afoul of the new European law.
I'm not. You're not listening.
I am listening, but
again,
that is not a PR issue.
No, okay. The PR issue.
I got to stop this conversation. We get the.
You get so mad
because it's important to get it right, and I'd rather stop talking about it than keep confusing people. I don't think.
Well, just stop assuming what I'm saying.
What you're saying doesn't make sense.
Okay. The entire payment processing companies would have to restructure again because of public opinion, that they're going to say, oh, so you're checking on what Steam does or HIO does, but you're not checking this market or this market. And now they're going to have to develop an entire team of people that'll then have to, again, go through these validation steps of whether or not this follows some legal process or some other legal process. And when that becomes normalized, they're going to be held to that standard for other stuff. And when they don't meet that standard, it'll fuck them over. And so, from a business perspective, these payment processors would much rather just take the easy route of letting public opinion serve as whether or not they should be compliant to some type of payment thing for a company, which I think is bad. It's bad. I don't agree with it. I don't like it. But it's what they're doing.
But they didn't do anything. It's Steam that did this.
Yes, but these people like Collective Shout are going to be like, I can't believe Visa is associated with this filth or like this.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's got nothing to do with the law.
Same page.
So then.
We're on the same page.
Okay, but the law is irrelevant to
the law is relevant to PayPal or to Visa.
Yes.
Right. It is the public outrage.
Or to Steam.
Yeah, it is the public outrage.
That's what I'm saying. So why do you keep bringing up that law?
Because if Visa were to go the other route and actually care about the law and do this like verification thing, their entire company would have that standard for every market they're within, and that would create so much more work.
My guess would be I could be wrong, but my guess would be that wouldn't be the payment processing's company. That would be problem. That would be Steam's problem.
Yeah, but for PayPal or Visa to push back against people like the Collective Shout, right? Then they would have to say, like, oh, yeah, we're validating that the law is upheld. Fuck you. I don't care about your
I don't think so. I think they would say that's,
Yeah, they're essentially saying, I don't care about your concerns. The law is not being broken. And for them to do that, they would have to self-admit that they are validating the law as being practiced.
Okay, but isn't that anything? I bought a gun with my Visa, or I bought this. I mean, there's all kinds of things that...
I know.
Let's go to the chat. I don't think you or I know the whole...
I do
the
know.
Whole, okay.
Well. You have a hard time following.
Okay.
Bold Alpha Wolf says, Visa and PayPal employees consider some of these receipts mental anguish. I know it. They're having to look into all these off-wall receipts, right? Pursuing fraud alerts, and they look into it, but the employee is not the same after. And it's apparently enough purchase in mass, which is wild to think about, to make them want to do something about it. Yeah. It's a lot more labor, a lot more work, and a lot more spending that these payment processors would have to do to be able to validate these, like, massive influx of, like, validation requests.
No, it's not.
How many games do you think are sold on Steam every day?
Okay, let's just pretend you live in European Union. Forget that question. It's irrelevant what you're about to look up because you're missing the point. I don't care if there's a billion. It's irrelevant.
Why?
Okay, because you're a kid in somewhere where this law is in effect. You go on to a website and you want to purchase or view adult content, and the government's approved age check thing comes up and says, show us your camera, show us your ID, whatever the 2 or 3 ways to get around it is. And the kid can't do it. Okay, cool. Or the kid can do it and cheats the system. Or it's an adult and there's no cheating of the system, right? And the product gets purchased. If the product's purchased, the issue is not the payment company so you're asking the payment company to have to review the government's website process for every that no one's asking for
I'm
that.
not asking that.
But Visa's
the collective shout is asking that.
I do not think
the collective shout is asking for the payment processors to be like the guardians of whether or not this transaction goes through.
Yes, but it has nothing to do with the law.
It shouldn't.
It doesn't.
I know.
So why are we even bringing up the law?
Okay. What is PayPal's response to people like the collective shout for why they should not listen to the collective shout? How does a
okay, show me exactly what the collective shout is asking for and I will tell you. They're not saying we're worried that these guys are breaking the new European Union laws, which aren't even in effect in Australia, by the way, which is where collective shout is out of.
There is a law in Australia related to it.
There may be, but it's not the new one. I imagine it's been in place for a while, because there are certain things we couldn't sell in Australia 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's true. Their specific argument is directed towards payment processors like Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal, demanding that these companies cease facilitating payments for video games that, according to collective shout, promote or feature sexual violence and abuse against women and girls.
Right. Nothing to do with any laws.
Okay, so what should PayPal respond with?
PayPal should respond with...
This is legal activity. It doesn't break a law. That's what I've been fucking saying. That's what I've been saying.
No,
PayPal, and they should say,
stop
your concerns are valid, but this is a legal thing.
Right.
There is no law being broken
Right,
here.
but what I'm saying is that's when this has got nothing... No, I can rewind it. This has nothing to do with the new European law.
That's,
what I'm
again,
saying.
That's not the point.
That was the point you were making, and that's why I was confused. Because, okay, so now get rid of the law part then.
It's not about the new law. It's about legal. It's about the law. Not the new law, law in general.
Chat, one's in the chat.
No, don't do this.
One's in the chat if he was tying this argument to the new European law.
You don't get the chat.
Yeah, I see the chat over there, though.
You
know I'm right. You know I'm right. Just own it.
You're obtuse, is what I've been saying is...
Obtuse?
Yes. I've been saying the entire time that if you start this precedent from a payment processor to have to validate based on legalities any payment process, that becomes the new standard for that company.
Okay, fine. So why? Let's assume you're right, which I don't think you are, but let's assume you're right that that's what Visa's afraid of. Okay? Well, why the fuck would Steam step up and itch step up and take the hit then? If it's a Visa, PayPal, MasterCard problem, why the fuck is Steam like, you know what? We got it, boys. You guys are way bigger than we are, but we'll just remove product from here.
Okay. So, because the payment processors don't want to create the new standard of operation where they have to validate the legality of every transaction they're doing, right? They don't want to go that route because that would require them to hire additional teams.
I understand why they wouldn't want to go that route.
Okay. So because they're not going that route, the current practice is to get a lot of their reporting from complaints from consumers that will then flag a company like Steam or like Best Buy or like whoever as a high-risk vendor, right? When they're a high-risk vendor, due to the policies established by that payment processor, they enter a different legal status for any type of returns or refunds or whatever, right? So Steam doesn't want to become high risk based on the reports of like the collective shout, right? So because of current policy for payment processors, Steam would become high risk. It would fuck up their business. It would fuck up their revenue, right? They'd become more volatile for their revenue. So instead, they're like, we'll remove our shit, right? The only way for Steam not to take that route is if the payment processors did have some type of policy in place that says, hey, if this is not breaking the law and they're on the up and up, we don't care about your reporting. But then that would have to make them set that standard of validating the legality of transactions, which is what they don't want to do.
But why?
So currently, the payment processors have to be scared of PR. They have to be scared of these like people making these big shouting claims or whatever, or else they have to make a change to how they run their company. So someone has to make a change. Either it's the payment processors or it's Steam. Okay, well, how does a payment processor respond to any of this? Where they
does
say,
Steam have anything that violates the law for sale?
So it's legality. But how does the payment processor validate that?
I imagine in the contract you're talking about where it's like we're going to move you from this criteria to that criteria in terms of you are now a high-risk vendor
Based on
based on if you're breaking the law with what you
who's
sell.
validating that? Who's validating that Steam's breaking the law?
And if Visa says we've moved you into
Based
this,
on
it doesn't matter.
That's what
let
that's
me
the argument.
It's not the argument. Let me finish. If Visa calls Gabe Newell and says we're moving you over here, and Gabe Newell says, okay, why? And they can't answer it, then Gabe's like, okay, well then I'm going to sue you because you're moving us into this category that your contract that we have with you says you will be moved into this category if you do XYZ. You aren't showing we're doing XYZ. Why would Gabe do anything?
You're not following again.
I
Because
guess not.
the policy that the payment processors have already given Steam to sign up using Visa or MasterCard says in their language, their legal language, if your company as a vendor is reported to be breaking the law, you'll be placed in high risk. If we get,
I'm almost certain
that is literally the response they've given. Is
okay, and then I assume Gabe Newell, who probably is a very valuable customer for these people, would call them and say, we're basically being review bombed and targeted. Let's have a conversation and talk about this.
Which would have been totally valid for Gabe Newell to do, if not for the fact that there were games that were classified as illegal in certain markets that have rightfully been removed. For now, I don't know if they're going to be available to markets that are not illegal, like these incest games are illegal in Australia.
I don't believe this.
I'm telling you.
Because if you're Gabe Newell then and you're already going to do the work to do that, then just say those games aren't for sale in those markets right now.
Or he doesn't make a public statement. He just goes through the process. He, as a business, he doesn't want to add to the bad PR of this.
He knows this.
I know, but it can be worse.
Be...
It can be worse because it's not the audience.
Right, well,
it's the public PR, right? It's the Fox, it's the NBCs, it's the people going out and saying, "Did you hear that they admitted to having these in illegal?" No, he just removed all the games. Then maybe again, this is not confirmed.
Okay, well that I can't speak to.
That's what I'm saying. This whole thing is a mess. It's a whole mess.
I would say if I'm Gabe Newell, I go on Fox and say, I tell you what, this is what you and all of these people that come on your shows are alleged to have done. You want to get down in the mud? We'll get down in the fucking mud. These games are legal, and these places we're selling them.
Yeah.
If you don't like them, don't buy them.
Yeah.
If you don't like them and you want them to be illegal, talk to your congressman.
We agree. We agree here.
So
no one wants to hold the torch of responsibility here in this issue.
Well, I think this is a bad
way of processing
call.
Yeah.
For these two companies.
I agree.
Because gamers, look, they have a right. I support their right as businesses. But somebody should swoop in now and go, you know what, I'm building a better mousetrap. You guys are fucking pussies. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Why say anything, says Jacob. Valve's a private company. They don't have to respond. No, of course they don't have to respond. They have every right to do every single thing that they're doing.
Yeah.
But they should respond because gamers talk and gamers are connected, and there'll be fallout maybe, or the fallout may be somebody comes along and says, I'm doing this better, which, no one stays at the top forever.
Well, it's going to be Elon Musk.
I hope it won't be him, but maybe.
He's going to make a new payment processing thing.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
All right.
Speaking about payment processing, did you hear?
What?
There's a new game coming out.
This shit. Don't do the Rudolph yet.
We're at the end of the stream.
We haven't even talked about God of War.
Well, yeah, you didn't give me a story for it. You're just going to talk about it yourself.
Talk about it. Hang on, give me a minute.
He's doing it himself, guys.
No, I'm just...
The man, the myth, the legend, David Jaffe.
You know what?
Creative mind.
You goddamn right. Hang on a second.
Chrome eats up so much memory.
Yeah.
What do you think, chat?
Why
ones of Steam should have stepped up and defended their consumer base, or two if they did the right choice? Let us know. Members only.
Yeah, well, no one's going to agree to this. It's terrible. Now I'm in a cranky mood.
Yeah. Steam has pissed me off. PayPal's pissed me off.
I mean, fuck these guys, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what Jacob means. Why turn Steam political? I don't think anyone's turning it political.
Well, no, he's saying like Gabe Newell.
That's what's political about it. He's basically saying, "Go fuck yourself. We're not breaking the law." What's political about that?
I think life would be simpler by a lot if we were all Ace.
Yeah.
Ace, a good boy.
These stories have pissed me off. These are not fun.
I told you the gaming news stories are bad for your psyche.
Yeah, it makes me upset.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to talk about there was an interview this weekend on Comic-Con networks. Collider had one, IGN had one with Ron Moore, who's the showrunner of Battlestar Galactica, wrote for Star Trek, showrunner for Outlander, and now he's the showrunner for the God of War TV series on Amazon. It's been approved for 2 seasons already. They are not shooting this year. The earliest he said they'll shoot is next year, but it could even be beyond that. So they're in the writing process right now.
Yeah.
And, look, I don't really like what he had to say. I like him as a showrunner. I was a big fan of God of War 2018 because of what it was. But the universe it left behind, the characters it left behind to build off of, I don't feel are very strong. I did not like Ragnarok, even though I thought it was a beautifully produced game. I did not think it was an engaging game. I thought the story was lame. And he's basically saying we're going to build off the tone of that. And again, they can make whatever the fuck they want. I mean, the guy's a great showrunner. I'm sure it'll be good. And I did like where he said there is going to be some angst and it's going to have that kind of, it's a serious show, but they're still going to have an adventure. I don't know if he said it's still going to be fun, but, it's not all going to be that. But I'm just kind of like, first off, the funny part about God of War 2018, and I'm not saying Corey ripped off The Last of Us. A lot of people say that, it's just they made that. I don't think Corey ripped it off at all. But I do think there are similarities in tone. Both of those, admittedly, certainly by Neil with Last of Us, were inspired by HBO Prestige TV. So now it's the snake eating itself. You're basically going, Prestige TV inspired these games. These games have now inspired what wants to be Prestige TV about the games that were inspired by Prestige TV. So all of these kind of fucking shows now, Lord of the Rings is a fucking bore on a, whatever, who has it, Amazon. There's just a lot of these fucking ponderous, just heavy. And so I don't like it. I'm not interested in seeing God of War go down that path, right? That's one of the things I don't like about it. I don't like the fact that it's actually interesting, the God of War Last of Us connection that a lot of people accused it of does come into focus more when you strip out the gameplay, right? Because the gameplay is so different between those games that you're like, okay, I guess I see the similarities, but whatever. But once it's just storytelling, it's like a father figure and a young kid go on a journey.
Yep.
It's the exact same fucking thing.
And then you add in the father figure is like desensitized to like family values.
Right.
He's kind of like a lone wolf character.
Yeah.
He's gruff and known to be like very strong and resilient. And now he's warming himself up to a character who is more playful and more more like, oh, I'm from a newer generation.
So yeah, there definitely brings that into focus. I also think that it suffers from, we saw Fantastic Four this weekend, and Galactus was amazing as a character on the screen, but it's like we're beyond scope being impressive, right? So it's like I think Greek mythology is inherently more compelling than Norse mythology. Like if you look at the monsters and stuff, but that's just subjective. But it's like, oh no, it's a troll. It's a giant troll, or it's the giant serpent. It's like, scope doesn't work anymore because it's free, basically. So you see it all the time. So I'm no longer like, oh my God, I want to tune in to watch this story about this guy fighting monsters. It's like, that's every fucking fantasy show at this point, right? So I don't know. The whole thing just seems, it probably will be good because of the showrunner. I have no doubt. But I can tell you after hearing him talk about it and seeing that they're going in this direction, I can tell you that I have very little interest. Like Twisted Metal, I'm excited to watch when it comes out this Friday. This, I do not care at all. And I'll watch it out of curiosity, at least a few episodes. But, I mean, in the chat or you, does this excite anybody, just seeing 2018 and Ragnarok brought to life in a TV series? Do you care?
For me in particular, as I've not played any... Well, I played Ragnarok for like 12 minutes, solving a puzzle for like my ex. She was playing the game, and she's like, I can't solve this. And I played it. It was like,
just wait 5 minutes
fun.
and Atreus will solve it for you.
Oh, yeah. That happens. He's like,
of course.
Oh, do this.
It's like, oh, wow.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Thanks for ruining the game for me, asshole.
It's a funny critique. I've played less than 20 minutes, and yeah, I noted that as well. Would it be cool? Kinda. To your point about this, like, it's more deep, it's more involved kind of storytelling they did with, like,
somber.
Somber. I've seen reviews from people that critique these, like, HBO series stuff, that the market is really motivating people to develop these stories that are in line with, like, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones.
Harry Potter and Game of Thrones aren't even distant cousins.
Well, Harry Potter was such an involved universe when it became a film, that it was like, there's all this lore that you can get when you read the books, and then now you have to associate the books to the sales of the movies and all this, and it became this like cult thing of Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah.
Game of Thrones had a similar thing. When you start publishing the show, people are like, well, I'm going to follow along with the books as well, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to get involved, and that level of depth to the world that you make the consumer either get into really good or just get from the show is the goal of, like, The Last of Us. You want The Last of Us to get very in depth in the show, so they try out the game, and now they're so involved that they want to be a part of the universe, and then maybe makes better sales for, like, comics they want on the line or toys.
I'm sure
or whatever.
That's part of the logic.
It's the consumer base, get them really involved with the material, right?
But I mean, you don't have to have that to do. And
no, but
God of War
that's
is
what
not
they're trying
based
to
on a series of books.
It's not, but they're trying to get that involved. I imagine because they want to increase sales for any, like, toys coming out or a new game. What?
Can I get fruit? I'm not.
Stop smoking cigarettes. Don't smoke cigarettes, guys. Anyways, I think that's the motivation, is they want to create some kind of like.
But do you want to watch it?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I do, only because I have an association to you, and it's like, you made this. You know, like that's the extent. As a consumer, this is not on my radar. Outside of that.
Yeah, I think, and Atreus is going to be in it. I mean, I think they'll write Atreus differently. I'm sure the essence of him being a guy who's struggling to connect with his dad will still be there, but I found that character, I just didn't like that. I loved the game, and I loved what Corey did with the story and reimagining it.
Yeah.
It was necessary, it was creative, it was clever, and all of that I celebrated when the game came out. It was one of my favorite games that year. But what the place it left God of War in because of those choices, I think, is insanely uninteresting. And I don't think that necessarily means that just going back to the Greek stuff would work either, because they had to change for a reason. I just think the result of those changes after they changed it. That's cool. We're off. I mean, look at them on the screen right now. Does anybody really fucking want to play or watch a show about these guys? They're just, it's boring, angry guy who's trying to be a better. I don't know. I've seen this 1,000 times.
I know it's a cliche now to be like, oh yeah, Kratos, Egypt.
But that's just a location.
I know it's a location, but I would watch the fuck out of a TV series if it was like, it starts off Kratos and Atreus, and they're having their conversation, and then boom, teleported to like Cleopatra time Egypt. And for some reason, Kratos has lost the majority of his powers.
Okay, but that's not going to work because that's not Kratos.
Well, no. It's like him going back and making the connection and collecting his powers again as a TV series. But he has to be like kind of like an undercover dude. He has to be like not so visual.
I mean, sure.
Until he can get back.
I may or may not watch that based on just if it's good. But that to me, at that point, why do you even have the brand God of War? the fan
Well,
base
yeah,
will
no,
eat
it,
you
it,
alive and
it,
go, what
it
the
connects.
fuck is
It
this?
connects to him like going back into the underworld and making amends with whoever, and then building as a character, and then eventually fighting like the god Ra or Anubis or some shit as he like gets all powered up, and it's like multiple seasons. I'd watch that.
I just don't think there's anything there anymore. I think the essence of what it was has been played out, and what's left with where we left Ragnarok off, I think is just okay.
Yeah,
Not very interesting.
But it's just
We will see.
from the games. It's always been like a solo adventure, or now I guess with Atreus is like a dual adventure going through. But you're not seeing him interact with society. We don't see Kratos interact with a community of people.
Yeah, I mean there will
They'd be nice to see that.
Sure. I have no doubt that it will be a well-done show.
Yeah.
Because I think Ron Moore is good. I think PlayStation Productions is good. I'm just responding to it as like somebody who's intimately involved in the building of the franchise. And I'm just kind of like, I don't know if I had any hope about hearing him speak, but when I clicked on it to hear his thoughts, I didn't walk away going, okay. Like at least with the Twisted Metal guys, I walked away from that initial meeting and I was like, okay, these are the Deadpool Cobra Kai guys, and they want to do what? Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll work. It ended up working great, but that's interesting. This just sounds like, another one of these fucking Lord of the Rings shows. Okay, I'm just so bored of it all. It's like, give me something fresh. I'd rather have a Broadway musical with music by like Ghost, or rock opera legends. And it's the most epic Broadway show ever with just insane sets and effects. And I think that would be compelling because, like, you've never seen anything like that. But this is all over TV at this point. I'm just like, been there, done that. There you go.
You know who's been there and done that?
Who?
Rudolph.
You're obsessed with this. Have you even watched the original Rudolph?
No, I have no idea.
Okay,
I sang a song in like first grade.
I put this up because I've always been like wanting more holiday themed video games. And we've started to see, hey baby, how was class? Good. We've started to see how Halloween now, you can play Costume Quest and there's a number of Halloween games on Steam and stuff, but Christmas still really is lacking anything. And I don't know if this game is going to be a great quality, but it is the Rankin Bass Rudolph. And there's a game coming, and I'm excited to see if it's good. So let's watch the
volume
trailer.
or no volume?
Oh, volume.
Here we go.
I haven't watched it. I don't know. Maybe there's a Nicki Minaj song under it. I don't fucking know.
Let's get this.
I love the Christmassy time of year, where young and old gather round to share one beloved Christmas story.
My nose, sir?
Ain't that something? Just like always, it takes a special light to guide the way.
Rudolph, won't
screen.
you guide my sleigh tonight?
Looks like Rudolph and his pals are at it again, always finding fun round every snowy
It's
corner.
Hermie. It's Hermie.
We're sticking together.
Rudolph, I think you're cute.
Yukon Cornelius scores again! Wobby!
Never seen a talking snowman before?
Ever seen a shirt make a phone call?
Beautiful, wonderful nose!
It's my nose. It keeps giving us away.
Some lights will never flicker. They're made to shine. As for the rest of the story, he went down in history.
Where's my PC version? It's coming to. Oh, it's coming to Steam. I'm not buying it on Steam. Fuck you, Gabe Newell. I'm excited.
You love Gabe Newell.
I loved Gabe Newell. I loved what he stood for.
You love him now.
No, he
He's
can
your
go.
bud.
No, he can go fuck himself.
You guys
now.
would have great conversations at the Denny's.
I have had one conversation. I don't know him. I met him once behind stage at a Sony.
Let's get him on the show.
No, I don't want to. No, I'm mad.
Gabe Newell?
Yeah.
He's mad at you.
No, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, fellas, that's the show. That's been Gavin and Games for the 28th of July. We're back tonight at 6:30, which is 2.5 hours with me,
Yep.
Bunny Button, and Tech Protect on a
Whoop.
Madhouse. We will see you guys.
Then.
Do we have any final chats we want to get to?
We can. Also, Gabe Newell is at least better than fucking Sid Meier.
Yeah. whatever.
Let's get Sid Meier at the
They're
Denny's.
both on my list. Where's Ice Miser? Well, Heat Miser and Mr. Snow, I think they're not in that one. They're in a different one. I think they're in one called The Year Without a Santa Claus. Jacob says that looked bad. Yeah, but it's a game for kids. Like, it's kind of a comfort. Now, it may control terribly. It certainly doesn't look compelling as a game. But if you have kids or you're feeling the Christmas season, it's kind of cool. Yeah, I'm going to buy it as well, Bold Alpha Wolf, just because, yeah, I mean, my kids used to watch it with me. I loved it. And,
That's it.
What's this? Who do we got?
Top 11 chatters, because I want to get Energy.
Anna G,
Number
anybody?
11. Number 10, Marble Dry. Number 9, LBBE8J. Thank you.
Yes.
Number 8, Lightning. Number 7, Austin Tatum. Number 6, K-Nubs. Number 5, Jacob Martin. Thank you, sir. Number 4, Da Vinci Demons. Number 3, Rob the Mod. Thank you, Rob. Good to see you. Number 2 is Rocker Matt. And number 1 coming in at number 1 with number 1 is going to be Mr. Number 1, which is SF.
SF, which is Kevin Sal, maybe? Is that the same name?
Who knows?
Who knows? There's the show, folks. We'll see you at 6:30 on this very channel with Madhouse. Until then, be well, be safe, and thanks for watching and hanging out with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, you guys.
Bye-bye.